2 of the titles as well. He's kept that momentum going through this campaign, winning the Champion of Champions, the shootout, and more recently the World Grand Prix. Daniel Wells, though, tough opponent, I think. He's got back on the tour. He was playing under amateur status last year, got back on through the one-year list. The overall head-to-head favours Allen 3 wins to 1. We'll talk about some of those meetings as the match progresses, but right now they're going to introduce table 1, and you won't even need to see who's being introduced to know that it's going to be Ding when you hear the cheer shortly. It was actually the last Chinese ranking event Ding won was this World Open back in 2017. As I say, we're waiting for the introductions on table 1 before we will start this match. Best of 9, of course. Both Allen and Wells have already won a match back in the UK in Barnsley to qualify. Mark Allen beat Andres Petrov 5-1 and Wells beat Liam Highfield 5-1. Well, unfortunately, you can't see Ding being introduced, but you can hear him and you can see the reaction of the audience there. All getting pictures and excited to see him. You can see him, of course, on Discovery Plus right now. Well, it's lively, isn't it? The first night session of the World Open. Mark Allen and Daniel Wells here on table 2, playing for a place in the last 32.
Thank you. The first frame, Daniel Wells to break.
Daniel Wells a long way from Neath in South Wales, here in Yushan in China. First day of the World Open. He's eyeing a big scalp in the form of Mark Allen, who's been one of the most consistent and successful players of the last couple of years. So he starts favourite, but by no means a certainty here. He knows he's got to play well. Last time they played, it was in the semis of the Scottish Open 2018, and Wells led 4-0. But Mark Allen fought back to win 6-5, deny him a place in the final. Delighted to be joined this week once again by former British Open champion Fergal O'Brien. Looking forward, Fergal, to another big week of snooker.
Thank you, David. Yeah, very big tournament in its own right, and of course the World Championships a month away just adds to it. 2 players today, both had good seasons. Of course, Mark's had a brilliant season, but Daniel's shown a lot of consistency. Always a tough player to beat, Daniel.
Yeah, he beat Judd Trump last season at the Welsh Open, Daniel Wells, and then against Sean Murphy. Murphy had a 1-4-5 and then a 1-4-7 against him in successive frames. And that can happen against top players. I think Allen will feel definitely he'll need to play good stuff today. Gone are the days when you turn up and just expect to get through the early rounds as a top seed. Of course, we've not been in Yushan for 5 years. The pandemic put paid to that. So Judd Trump, the last winner here in 2019. Just looking at some of the pictures of the red carpet parade, and what was interesting was it wasn't just the top players who were being made a fuss of. There were posters of the likes of Daniel, players lower down the rankings, being made to feel maybe a bit more special than they would be in some of the UK tournaments.
Yeah, exactly. That's always one of the appeal playing in China. As you said, regardless of your ranking, you always felt special. Seen on social media, a lot of the players posting, standing beside a big giant poster themselves. Always good for your confidence.
1.
Of course, great to have the tournaments back in China this season after that break during COVID. And of course, already another tournament for next year. And just feel these tournaments are going to get more frequent, even more prestige, more money.
Daniel Wells, 1.
Well, it's a delicate shot, that, isn't it? And he hasn't quite nailed him in behind the yellow, as you can see. And it would have been slightly dangerous if he had done with the red spread as they are. Yeah, Alan's been very, very reliable, hasn't he, this season? He's found a real steel to his game, and we've seen that come to the fore several times, most recently in the World Grand Prix final against Zhang Anda, which he won 10-8 at midnight.
In the last couple of years in particular, it's been noticeable the change in Mark. He's just added that extra bit of steel. Greater patience, greater discipline. You do sometimes wonder, though, adding that, has that maybe just taken away some of the fluency, some of that heavy scoring that he had? Again, like all players, trying to find that balance. But if he wasn't before, certainly the last year or two, serious threat to win the World Championships. I'm sure he'll be very disappointed if by the end of his career he hasn't. Obviously Mark favoured to win here, but you feel for Daniel to win the start of the frame, each frame's going to be very important. You just feel he needs to get in first and also then score heavy. Just make a good start in each frame, particularly the match, put Mark under a little bit of pressure. You don't Mark being comfortable.
One.
Felt sure putting that he'd be on some colour. Bit unfortunate to be so close to the blue.
Daniel Wells, 1.
Well, Daniel Wells, his best tournament this season actually was in China, the International Championship. He got to the last 16 and on the way beat Neil Robertson and Zhou Yulong. So it suggests sort of travelling's not an issue for him. Again, though, as with the yellow early, he didn't nail Alan in behind that blue. Now this red's running. This red is running into bulk. Well, it's gone to the cushion. It could have been nicely on for him.
Yeah, I just feel he's going to have to play it with pace to come away from the cushion. I suppose he could roll it in, leave the green into the opposite middle. Yeah, playing with that extra bit of pace just made the pot a bit more difficult. Chances you feel would be hard to come by for Daniel, so he'd be anxious to make the most of each of them.
So quite a cagey start. Daniel Welsh, as I say, from Neath in South Wales. He actually went to the same school as two other professionals, Michael White, who we'll see tomorrow against Ronnie O'Sullivan, and also Jamie Jones, who's also in this tournament, playing Ricky Walden. So you talk about hotbeds. I mean, that really was. But of course, that's always been the case with South Wales. Right back to the era of the likes of Ray Reardon. And the same is true of Northern Ireland, of course. And in fact, today, well, we were talking, Fergal, before we came on, would have been Alex Higgins' 75th birthday.
Yeah. Remarkable character. Did so much for the game. Probably will be deemed still Northern Ireland's greatest ever player, despite
in those incredible ways. And that is the last piece of the jigsaw, isn't it, for Mark Allen? If he could win that, then he joins that legacy.
And of course, if he was to win it this year, he'd also become world number one.
Yeah, there's a lot of crucible talk in the air. We had Luca Brissell earlier, of course, winning, and Judd Trump, and it's about a month away. But this is a big event in its own right.
There has been some years where the last tournament in China before the World Championship has been very close. Sometimes you get a sense of players that they nearly had one eye on maybe going home and trying to get the preparation for the World Championship, but still long enough time away, particularly for the seeds. We'll be giving this tournament their full attention.
Well, whenever you see the black go over the pocket, you start to think it could end up a long frame, depending on whether the reds start to gather around it. But I think already we've seen the respect Alan has for Wells. I'm sure they both remember that Scottish Open semi, where you do kind of think if it hadn't been for the interval, Wells possibly could have won, but 4-0 up, had a lot of time, 15 minutes to think about the position he was in. And of course, Alan, even back then, was much more used to the latter stages of tournaments.
I think the brown has just blocked that red that Daniel potentially could have went for the left corner, resulting in the safety. Yeah, that was always the danger, making sure he avoided those three reds. Managed to glance the red and get back up the table. Has left Mark a choice of two reds, but he's trying to look, can he pot the red, maybe drop it in? Is there a gap between those reds close to the black spot to get the black over the pocket? Certainly the last couple of years, Mark, with all the success he's had, very noticeable how determined he's been and disciplined not to take really any risks at all. Has led to him probably playing a couple of seconds slower than previous years, maybe getting more embroiled in longer frames and matches. Again, he's been very, very successful. That one was worth the risk, but it was a kind of pot. If he went for it, he had to make it. And there's a great chance here for Daniel.
Yeah, this is an opening Wells will feel he'll have to seize upon. Sometimes when you play a real big hitter, they can sort of just blitz you from the off. That's not happened here. It's been quite a cagey start, but this is his chance to get going.
1.
Wells boasts a highest break of 141. He's made 92 centuries in his career. 6 this season. It's been a little bit of an up and down campaign. As I say, that last 16, the International was the best run. He got to the last 32 in Wales recently. Lost out to Marco Fu. Now then, these reds look like they're covering one another. Just cannon that red. And there you see, can't get through now to that other red. The one just off the black spot will pot. But he's not potted it. Well, there's a good chance that, and it didn't come to much.
And Daniel will be horrified, only making 6 from that opportunity. As I said before, opportunity is going to be hard to come by today. Point blank range in the blue, choice of reds. Just caught the yellow mark there. Left Daniel as red above the blue into the right middle. It's quite a thin clip to pot it. Every chance the white could go into the blue. He needs to just commit to try and pot it. White will take care of itself, and there's every chance to be on the black that's over the pocket anyway. Say Mark was surprised Daniel didn't go for that red. Of course, if you decide to not go for the pot, play safety, it's crucial then you play an excellent safety, which Daniel did. And that was a big target. Yellow closer to the brown, played it very well.
Foul and miss. Daniel Wells 4.
Yes, similar choice again for Daniel here.
Back.
White was a bit closer, but again, put Mark back. Mark trying to come off the cushion, hit the red close to the blue at pace. Dance off and try and get distance between the balls and get back up the table. Got the red on the wrong side. As a result, the whites come down towards the reds. Not sure if the red goes past the black. There's the one in the middle. Of course, with putting that red also freed up the black on its spot.
Well, he completely lost the cue ball.
Sometimes when the ball is so close to the pocket, it can be difficult to judge the pace, but that's a bad error there. Again, need such a big margin of error. A bit of pressure now on this pot.
Not close. Second good scoring chance he's had.
Daniel Wells, 8.
Yeah, he just held his hand up. He didn't leave anything easy, but the annoyance will be another good opening came to very little. It's a long way to come from the UK to play in these tournaments, and you obviously you want to put on a show. You don't want to be sort of traipsing back home after the first day.
Couldn't have asked for two better chances.
Daniel Wells, 4.
One made 6 and then 8. It can be very debilitating for your confidence. But of course, it'll also given Mark Allen confidence. And he's given his opponent 2 very good chances, and he's done nothing with them. That can also help Mark settle and relax.
Well, he failed to make contact, and this is a thin snick. Not a good cannon.
Yellow ball. Daniel Wells, 1.
Yeah, again, quite a poor shot from Daniel there. Should have been tight behind the brown.
But a miss. Daniel Wells, 4.
We're talking about Dennis Taylor. Maybe Mark should try his spectacles, because he's missed a few like that, hasn't he? So this match, this frame, is taking a bit of time to get going. There are 8 tables here. Some big hitters actually in action. Corin Wilson just won the first frame against David Grace. We've got Barry Hawkins out on table 8 against Jensen Kendrick.
Daniel.
Yeah, Mark just making sure ball goes back exactly where it was the last one.
Yeah.
He's conscious of not putting himself into a more difficult situation, but also conscious he doesn't want to gain an advantage. And again, he shouldn't be able to see any of the reds. Should have been totally snookered behind the brown.
In terms of who the winner plays, it's a bit convoluted, this. Guokang is got to play his match yet, but he's got to wait for Matt Selt against Wang Jingbo. Wang Jingbo was one of the wildcards. He played earlier, and in fact he beat his brother. He beat his younger brother, Wang Jingzhong. So that was a bit awkward all round. So he's now playing Matt Sell, and then the winner of that plays He Guo Kwang to play the winner of this. Maybe they're sort of the Chinese Joe and Fred Davis, those two, for the future.
Awkward for the parents, I'd say.
Well, black and pink now, no good really. So this frame could still take a while to resolve itself. It seems Mark Allen doesn't mind, though, if it goes a bit like this now. There was a time I think he wouldn't enjoy this sort of frame, but he wins a lot of them now.
He doesn't care how he wins the frame, so long as he wins it, prepared to just wait it out.
Pop. Mark Allen pop.
Well, things not getting better for Daniel, I'm afraid. Just he was lining up to that. He presumably feathered the white there. Zhu Ying, the referee, was on the case.
Yeah, quite unusual for a player to
One.
feather the white. And Mark struck that beautifully. Too well, if anything. I certainly feel
Mark Allen one.
the frame, the way it's going, more likely to favour Mark. He's been in the habit of winning these kind of frames the last couple of years. I feel it's important for Daniel at the start of the match to stamp his authority on it. Had two really good chances. Did nothing with them. You just feel there's going to be parts of the match where Mark will have his opportunities. Mark will be dominant. So when Daniel's involved in the frame or with chances, you feel he has to take advantage of them. Yeah, with black and pink out of commission, and even the blue off at the spot down the baulk end. Even if a player is left a long pot, might well refuse it because no guarantee at all.
So black free. Yeah, it's Daniel Wells. Got a good long pot in him here. Well, he's not playing the red on the right-hand side.
Yeah, looking to swing it around the angles, getting behind the green. Played it well, but just has left a couple of reds for Mark to play off and get back down that area.
Thank you.
Well, mean, he has left a chance, but had he not kissed that red, probably would have left it to the yellow pocket. All these little nudge difference. Wells doesn't seem in the mood to really take any risks, though. Just while we watch this exchange, we must congratulate Bai Yu Lu, who yesterday became the women's world champion, just 20 years of age, from China. She was the runner-up last year, won it here in China yesterday. It was a very dramatic match with Mick Nutcher. It went 6-5 on the final pink. It was a long match, over 7 hours, and Bai potted the last pink. And she'll be on the World Snooker Tour from next season for 2 years at least. So congratulations to her. There was a big crowd in as well in Changding. It was very well attended event right throughout.
Daniel has had a look at the red along the cushion. He could potentially roll in, but the pace he'd be playing if he did miss, it'd be guaranteed to leave it. And a little bit fearful of playing in behind the green again, leaving the gap with that red close to the middle pocket. As soon as he hit the wide, he was up off the shot.
Now, of course, you've heard the audience reacting to the other match on the main table, table one. That's Ding Junhui and Zach Surety, but it's going to be Zach Surety, the qualifier. In fact, it's round one. He's not qualified yet, but he's come out here as the underdog, certainly. He's going to win that frame. So, big chance for him today to make a bit of a name for himself, and he's won frame one. You can watch that on Discovery Plus.
Mark left that shorter pace, has left that red to the opposite middle, but playing across the table. It's going to be quite difficult.
One.
Yeah, that red reminded me of the black Stephen Hendry missed in that Masters final against Mark Williams. Again, looked very easy on the screen, but needed potting.
Yeah, a little more important. It was a respot at 9 each in the Masters final. Well, it's another chance. It's getting to the stage now, I think, if he doesn't win this frame, Wells, then what frame will he win? I mean, he's had so many chances. He hasn't really seen Mark Allen do much yet. That's the encouraging thing, even though he's lost his way himself. Allen hasn't really made much impact yet. more he builds a lead, the more difficult it will be for Mark Allen to certainly step in and clear up where the balls are here.
First frame of a match, particularly,
12.
as you said, travelled so far. Can take a while to settle in and relax. As long as you get the first frame of the board, no matter what way you've won it, you then can relax, settle into the match. Which you never know, being in China. The players, have they been sleeping well? Is jet lag an issue? Yes, overhit that again. Been a few shots today, even rolling up the balls. He hasn't judged the pace at all. Just another sign, not quite feeling totally comfortable. They'll 50-point lead. 5 reds left, all in awkward positions. Still totally in control in this frame.
Daniel Wells, 26.
Daniel was reluctant to take either the 2 reds on the side cushion away from the cushion. Has brought the pink into play, though.
Yeah, every frame is different, isn't it? This has been very scrappy from the off. A lot of mistakes, really. He's failed to get on the black, actually, with the right angle, Daniel Wells there. It was quite a big one because he only needed a couple more reds. He could have won the frame there. Still favourite with the lead he's got, but it's been hard fought so far. So some big hitters successful so far. Si Jiawei was beaten, though. Of course, Crucible semi-finalist last year, lost to his fellow Chinese Long Zhuhang. Ronnie O'Sullivan up tomorrow in this session against Michael White.
I feel the Mark Allen of a few years ago might have gambled a little bit more, try and force the issue. But it's been very noticeable the last couple of years. His patience and discipline have been excellent. Not prepared to compromise, sacrifice, wants to play the right shot. Excellent pot there on the double. And of course, he knew it was the only red he could leave. And a couple of shots ago, Daniel brought this pink into play, which I thought it was an error.
Seven.
And a good shot from Mark there. Not just to pot it, obviously, to get away and get back up the table for this red.
Eight.
And the lead and the comfortable position Daniel had in a couple of shots could easily go. All of a sudden, Mark could become favoured for the frame. Just looking if he can leave the white on the black cushion and potting the middle red, that'll free up then the other two. So making some good opportunity here for Mark. And again, if he was to win, it'd be a hammer blow for Daniel with the chances he's had. And of course, on the other side, give Mark great confidence.
Mark Allen, 13.
Yeah, Daniel will be relieved seeing Mark miss that.
Yeah, it was looking like a potential clearance. So 37 in front, red and a pink, and Mark Allen would need a snooker.
1.
He's having a look at the blue there. Just obviously left-hander, it's slightly more awkward this pink, but of course if he puts the pink, he's 44 ahead. Mark would require a snooker, but always looked like the shot to play.
7.
So one snooker needed. Been a lengthy frame and not quite on the board yet for Daniel Wells.
Daniel Wells, 7.
Yeah, because last season he got to the semis of the shootout. So by now, he could have played 4 matches in that tournament, couldn't he? 40 minutes. Chris Wakelin beat him, the eventual winner. But that helped him, of course, get back on the tour through that one-year list. It's a ranking event. And he finished in that top 4 on that one-year list, which got him on, got his tour card back. Very significant event.
Even when he was off the tour, he never looked upon him as an amateur. Obviously, he'd been a pro for so many years before that.
There you go, 41 minutes and counting. I'm guessing Ding's just potted something by the extraordinary cheer in the background. Great to see such a big crowd, and also, and this has been a theme of the Chinese events since we've returned, they're close to the tables. Years ago, they were a little bit distant, a little bit far away, and it didn't create much of an atmosphere. But now we've seen it already, because this is the 4th event in China this season, 3rd ranking event. It's more like what we're used to on the tour. The crowd are closer. It makes it more intimate, puts a bit more pressure on the players maybe, but certainly creates a better atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, it has made a big difference. Because even in previous years playing there, even if there was a big crowd, the fact that the first few rows might have been empty or so far away, you never felt there was a big crowd in, or sometimes it was lacking in atmosphere. It hasn't been the case, as you said, this season.
Well, slight swerve here. These long frames, Fergal, it's, you know, what's going on? Not quite near your record yet, though, are they? Just an hour and 17 minutes to go.
It's the first frame, you still got it in. You're allowed one a week. possible exception of Mark Selby. I think Mark Allen's becoming the kind of player that you're most fearful of being, even when he needs a snooker. Very good tactically, but more important, as I said, the patience and discipline. He's going to wait for an ideal opportunity.
Yeah, things can happen. I mean, he wasn't that far from an in off there, actually. So it was, when there's just one needed, that little sense of jeopardy.
Yeah, with there being 44, even a blue would be enough for Mark to still require just needing the one. And again, where the ball colours are quite open, the other three colours on their spots. And you feel Mark's going to get one good opportunity, I think, to get a snooker.
One.
If he can get on a colour, of course. Not too bad, just has to make sure of the black. Try not to snooker himself.
Eight.
Yeah, couldn't jeopardise the pot, just had to play pocket weight. Hoped he might have a bit of the red to hit.
Mark Allen, 8.
Or just hoping it's just to hit it and trying not leave it on.
I think the point here is he's not playing on because he feels obligated. He's playing on because he fancies he can get the snooker, he can win the frame, and he's enjoying the chase. Not every player does, I don't think.
And Daniel will be well aware of his growing reputation. He'll be fearful. Gotta mind his work. Doesn't want to walk himself into trouble.
Yeah, the cheering, by the way, was it wasn't for Ding, it was for Wang Jingbo, this wildcard who beat his brother earlier today, and just made an 84 break against Matt Selt to level at 1-1. So, you know, obviously we remember Ding, the most obvious example, but other Chinese wildcards who we saw at a young age and went on to become top players. Who knows, he could be another one on his way.
Mark just caught that red a little bit thinner than he would have liked. Was trying to maybe get a snooker behind the brown and blue. Has left this shot to nothing for Daniel. He'd been anxious to try and pot this, get the frame of the board.
One.
Yeah, be feeling a lot better. Obviously, it's certainly a frame he could have won at least a half an hour ago. But he's won it now. Properly settle into the match and relax. Again, the encouraging thing is that he has had plenty of chances.
Yeah, the main thing is he's won the frame. And that's obviously was the idea when it began. So Daniel Wells has just sort of scrapped through. It's been quite a disjointed start to this match. Mark Allen, I'm sure, happy to see the back of it.
And the free.
So we're underway then on the night session here in Yushan, day one of Snooker's World Open. And Daniel Wells, it is, who leads Mark Allen 1-0. Remember, it's best of 9, first of 5 to advance to the last 32. Allen breaking off, trailing 1-0 to Daniel Wells here in Yushan. Yeah, the first frame, it got bogged down. Players were sort of losing the run of the table. Balls went awkward. It's one of those classic scrappy frames. I'm sure that the rest of the match is not going to be like that.
Yeah, Mark has that red that seems to get left an awful lot from the break-off. Did come down the table, I think, and playing it. He's fearful that going to catch the red that's beside the black. Yeah, played with an extra little bit of pace. Kind of good putt to get, even if it ends up just being for one. Also a sign to his opponent. I think if he did turn it down, might have been deemed as weakness.
Daniel Wells, 1.
Just in terms of other matches, you can hear it's a lively crowd in, which is good on day one. You can hear the applause. Ding was 2-0 down to Zach Surety, but he's just about to win frame 3, so it's going to be 2-1. So they're really getting on with it on table 1. Matsell 1 each with Wang Jimbo, as I said earlier. David Grace 2-1 up against Karen Wilson. Mark Allen finds the pack. We've got Ishpreet Singh Chadha. He's, of course, a new pro from India, and he's 2-0 up against Yuan Sijun, one of the Chinese contingent. Barry Hawkins doing his under-the-radar act as usual. He's 2-0 up, playing good stuff so far. He's had a 94 break against Jensen Kendrick. Ricky Walden 2-1 up against Jamie Jones, who's about to level actually at 2-2. Oh, no, sorry, he's actually... Yeah, Jamie Jones has won the third frame there. Ricky had a 1-3-7 in frame 2. So there's a lot to keep on top of. You can watch tables 1 to 4 live on Discovery Plus. Ashley Hugel 1-0 up against Jack Jones as well.
I'm not sure if Daniel could get back down the balk and too easily. As he just come down, if he plays a dump shot and leaves the white on the black cushion, where exactly can he leave it? Mark would like to play the red beside the black, just to free that up. Yeah, and playing that though would have given control away. playing off that red, of course. Cannon the other red to take it away from the black.
Well, while we watch this, just to show you what's happening on table one, and Ding, as I say, a moment ago, is just wrapping up that third frame. Been put under it a little bit by Zach Shearity here.
28.
Obviously, in China, you're kind of playing the crowd as well, but hasn't made any difference in the first couple of frames. But you can hear the big cheer as he wins frame 3. So 2-1 to Shearity.
Mark's previous shot, he the option of a long red left corner, or maybe play it safe to get back down to balk, but as I said before, didn't want to take any risk. Felt it was worth going for that red. He did pot it beyond the black. However, in missing it has left Daniel a chance.
One.
Over the second frame in a row, Daniel's got the first good chance. Once he won the first frame, he'd obviously be keen and anxious to ideally win a frame in one visit.
Eight. Nine.
Those three reds to the left of the black. While the black is able to pass, still causing a little bit of an issue regarding to positional play. Would love to be able to disturb them while he's compiling this break. Again, there's more than enough points out in the open to not get too distracted or bogged down with those three. Yeah, he's lost position again. Just
16.
not striking it as if he's playing with any great confidence. Just a little bit apprehensive. And he felt with the first frame on the board, there'll be a bit more fluent, but just hasn't happened so far.
No, this is the thing. I mean, he's been getting the openings, isn't he? But he's just not making much from them.
16.
So, just lost his way there, playing back down to safety.
Yeah, the mistakes he's made with the positional side, he's had massive margins of error. Quite basic mistakes, you would say.
Well, dream kiss on the green for Mark Allen. Cue ball in behind the brown.
Yeah, it just compounds the issue.
Snooker gods, isn't it? You know, it's you didn't make much of the last visit, so we're going to punish you. Well, that's what players attempted to think anyway.
Yeah, you could say Daniel was unlucky, but he gave bad luck a chance. He should still be at the table compiling a break. Not that he deserved what's happened, but you just get a sense as the match progresses, Mark is going to play better and get more chances. So that's why while Daniel is on top, he's got to capitalise on these chances. Mightn't get any better than this throughout this whole match. It's an excellent safety shot there from Daniel.
Yeah, I think he's a good safety player. I think what does link the two of them, they sort of said earlier, they've both got really good grounding in the game. The structure they came through in the Welsh juniors and the Northern Ireland juniors has been there for decades. So they would have learnt the game kind of the right way. Now Mark Allen doesn't think it is touching. It's been called touching. Xu Ying, the referee, having another look.
Touching. No touching. This one's very, very, very fast.
Well, it seems now it's not touching. There were 6 pairs of eyes on that. Or rather 3 pairs of eyes.
Like this.
I don't know, you moved that, did it?
Now, did he hit it or not?
Did Daniel play a shot there? Did he try and...
I hit the cue ball. No reds. Yeah, no, I think it's fine.
For Mark Allen.
Yeah, I think Daniel played the controlled miscue. He just glanced the white on the side and effectively move it to the side. It'd be amazing to think that he was so close to touch a ball that he could hit the white and not hit a red.
Yeah, both touching.
Well, he's touching now, so he can play away. Strange little minute there.
Yeah, because Daniel actually said he did hit the white, but a foul wasn't called, and he played again.
Well, she did call a foul, I think, but the points didn't go on Mark Allen's score, so... What's going on, Fergal?
Yeah, well, I said unless the score hasn't been put on, but otherwise then Daniel literally played 2 shots in a row without a foul being called.
I think I did hear a call of foul, so maybe it's just our graphic that needs updating. Yeah. You can hear a bit of hubbub in the background. That's because Ding has made a 122 break to level up at 2-2 with Zach Surety, so there's audience going to the interval. Now I'm going to speak to the marker about the score, because he should have 4 points. Yeah, it's not on the arena scoreboard, he hasn't got them yet, so that's what that's about, I think. It might make a difference later, in terms of, you know, might need a difficult black or something to win the frame, or not need it. There we go. He has his points.
Yeah, I think we needed to know more than the players did. As I said, it was amazing that he was so close to the red that he could hit the white and still not reach. Anyway, the fun of games is over.
Yeah, the bottom line is Allen hasn't really done much yet in this match. That was a chance there. Didn't really get too close to the pot. There's a bit of noise in the background. That hasn't helped, but you're going to get that in a multi-table setup.
1.
Well, Wells has to sense an opportunity here against a big hitter who's not yet performing in the match.
7.
Another chance for him.
Yeah, needs to mind his work here and just
8.
keep closer control of the cue ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're playing one of the
15.
top players, can nearly take you a little bit by surprise if you're getting plenty of chances. They can nearly sometimes add to the pressure you feel with these chances. You
16.
must capitalize on them. But he can't just mind his work here, do enough to win this frame. All of a sudden 2-0 up. Great for his confidence and belief, particularly as his opponent hasn't put him under any great pressure.
$23. 24.
Reds does Wells.
Yeah, played that red, trying to open up the other two. Couldn't be guaranteed where those 3 reds would go. It's slightly awkward queuing here, just bridging over the green and the red. You can see the referee come around, anxious to have a look, make sure he's not hitting the green.
One.
Just about wriggled in. Yeah, had a look at the blue, but I think he was going to be hitting the green. Again, if you can pot the pink, 65 ahead. Probably travel down towards that red, closest to the blue. Yeah, he had another look at the blue there, but pink seems a better option. Yeah, just made sure the pot and just played for an area, just needs the red.
7. Eight.
Yeah, so Daniel Wells, okay, he's not at his very best, but he's playing better of the two, and he's getting enough openings, enough chances to take a 2-0 lead here. Concern for Allen, he's not really made any impact on this match yet. For all the steal and battling qualities he's got, he knows you've got to score as well, and so far, no breaks to speak of at all from him. 71 in front, 59 on the table. Mark Allen doesn't look like he's getting out of that chair. No, he's staying where he is. So Daniel Wells leads 2-0.
And the front.
It took a long time for the penny to drop there, didn't it? Mark Allen was not getting out of his seat. So 2-0 and a little bit of early concern for the world number 3 here in Yushan. So 2-0 to Daniel Wells. It's taken a while to reach this stage, about an hour and 20 minutes. Mark Allen just waiting for Wells to return. Table 1, they're going to be back out shortly after the interval. 2-2 there. Zach Surety led 2-0 against Ding Junhui. Ding has fought back 122 in frame 4. To the delights, obviously, of the fans here. Now, Wang Jimbo, he's only 16, he's a wild card. He beat his younger brother, his 13-year-old brother, this morning, and he now leads Matt Selt 2-1. But it's not only that, he's made breaks of 84 and 78, so seems like a major talent, and Matt Selt bang under it there, obviously, as the established player up against a complete unknown. Very interesting to see how that one resolves itself. Barry Hawkins 3-0 over Jensen Kendrick. The Hawk looking good already there. Kyron Wilson 2-2 with David Grace as Daniel Wells returns here for frame 3 in a strong position.
Yeah, said at the start of the match he felt for Daniel to win. It was important he made a good start. Obviously 2-0. Couldn't have asked for much more. Could have made it a little bit easier though with the chances he's had.
Well, this is what Allen needs. He needs to get on the front foot and use that natural aggression he has to his advantage. It's been quite a scrappy, sluggish match so far. It doesn't really suit him.
Anxious look, Mark there. Yeah, he's playing for an area and just looks like that red close to the white is blocked. Again, Daniel will be relieved. It'll be very annoying when you work so hard for a frame and literally give it away from your break off. When you seen that first red go in, you would have feared the worst.
It was a big frame, isn't it? I mean, 3-0. You fancy Wells. Of course, in the background, there was that last meeting between them when he led 4-0 and lost 6-5. Meantime, he has left another chance here. Hand on the table. You fancy Allen, really, for this one. Big cheer in the background as he lines it up, but he knocks it in.
1.
Well, again, he's just completely lost position.
Yeah, he was just anxious to try and get around the black area. Of course, there was 2 reds to the side of the pack. On his 2 previous shots, he could have played for them. Now it is a bigger margin for error and then work his way down to the black.
Mark Allen 4.
Again, similar pattern to the previous 2 frames. Player room with a good chance. And make 6 and 4 in that instance. Again, Daniel Toon still don't feel he's played well. So both players feel this match is certainly up for grabs. It's an important part of the match here, more so nearly for Daniel. You feel that would have been on top and his opponent not playing at his best. As best he can, needs to capitalise and try and increase this lead.
One.
Yeah, Daniel's last 3 shots, he's at mark. A red from distance. He's going to pot it, but you feel at some point he's going to turn these into frame-winning breaks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good chance now, isn't it? You know, the black's available, red's available. Mark Allen, 38 centuries this season. So for all the sort of battling qualities, he's still making the breaks. Went over 600 for his career, 600 centuries. Oh, but, wow, the blue's not dropped.
Mark Allen, 1.
You can't believe it.
Yeah, I don't know. He just looks surprised. I don't know. Possibly to the blue drift. Or was it just the fact that he presumed it was gone. He was watching to see where the white was. But again, 3rd time this frame alone. It's a massive let off. From those 3 opportunities, made a 6, a 4 and a 1 break. And again, that just adds to the point I was making before. Crucial here for Daniel to capitalise on this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he can't believe he's back at the table so quickly. Because 3 times, as you say, the frame could have been over.
Thank you. 1.
It can sometimes take you by surprise when you're playing a top player and he's not playing at his very best. You just nearly presume that you're going to have to play one chance snooker to win. If they do start missing, giving you chances, can be slightly off-putting. In your pre-match mental preparation, you don't really tend to think of how will I cope when my opponent plays bad.
8. Nine.
Just looking at some of his results last season, he beat John Higgins in the German Masters. He beat Judd Trump in the Welsh Open. You know, these are big marquee names that he's beaten in the last year or so. Neil Robertson this season at the International Championship.
16. Seventeen.
That red closest to the black cushion, just making position of play a little bit more awkward. Played a nice shot there just to avoid the red. Bit of check side to make that cannon.
24.
Now in prime position. The context of the match, this is a
25.
crucial visit.
Thirty-two. 40.
He just glanced that red, which freed it up. Just has to pot this red nicely on the pink.
Yeah.
Asking for the spider. Yeah, it's a vital point, not just in the frame, but in the match here, because Alan's been in 3 times, done very little. If Daniel Wells can make it 3-0, then big shock is brewing, because his own confidence can only go up with every frame he wins.
41.
Yeah, it sounds unusual to say it, but with Daniel being 2-0 up, you still feel he can play his way into this match. And again, even just there, looked like it couldn't really go wrong. Just looked inevitable. They just pot the red and be on a simple pink.
I think that's why it's important for him to win at this visit, because then it's not bits and pieces. He's actually making the most of one chance, and that will concern Alan. But that was heading to the near jaw, and it stayed out. So he's only 30 in front. He gives Mark Allen a 4th scoring chance in this frame.
Yeah, he just looked like a miss waiting to happen. It sounds funny with him being 2-0 up. Obviously he hasn't played terrible, but just even his body language just looked a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah, it just felt like such a vital point in the match, that, and ultimately he didn't take the frame. So Alan trying to get on this scoreboard with another chance here. One thing about Mark Allen, he's got a very good temperament, even when things are going bad. And even here, I think there's a photographer moving or something. He's just very politely asked for them to just be spoken to. He didn't make a meal of it. We saw at the recent Players' Championship in Telford in that final with Zhang Anda, he just refused to leave that arena without winning the match. However long it took, and it took a long time, it wasn't fluent, but he just dug in and he got the trophy, and that's what it's all about.
17.
And what a chance now with the 3 reds in open play to win his first frame.
Both players have been struggling throughout the day. Keep good close control of the cue ball. Mark certainly didn't play for the red into the middle.
$23. Yeah.
Mark can win this frame. Not only does it make a difference, of course, in the scoreboard, but psychologically, we feel it's very important. Mark will have known he's played nowhere near his best. He's only 1 frame behind. His opponent has had plenty of chances, hasn't capitalised on them. And also Daniel have that nagging feeling that he's let Mark off the hook and it could come back to cost him.
Q. 31.
We know, of course, that self-belief is so important in snooker, and Mark Allen has that. Even
38.
if he's struggling, he will believe, I can find something, whereas some players, as he's shaking his head again, I don't know whether this is the scoreboard or is there someone moving. Some players, if they start badly, they just carry on badly.
No, the machine sometimes it's slow.
The scoreboard is a bit slow ticking over. Not ideal, really. Doesn't help concentration, things like that. You know, you're trying
39.
to play at a reasonable sort of pace, and you're a little bit confused about what the score is. Not ideal. But he's 15 in front, so he needs yellow, green and brown to win his first frame. Daniel Wells had a good chance, didn't he? Missed that pink to right middle.
45.
Yeah, struck that very well. I'd like to be a little bit closer to the yellow. He felt he just sensed the importance of it.
50.
Mark will be relieved to get this frame on the board. Would have fared the worst, but Daniel had that excellent opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Allen had 3 chances at the start of the frame, and he made 11 points from them. So Daniel Wells had a big chance to lead 3-0. It didn't happen. And suddenly Allen just starting to look more like the player we've seen the last couple of years.
59.
Didn't sort of dwell on the negatives in this match, just focused on this visit. And he's won his first frame.
65.
So some fluency at last from the Northern Irishman. 72 with the black is the clearance. And he will be satisfied with that. He's on the scoreboard with a nice break and has arrived in this match with Daniel Wells' lead reduced to 2-1. So Daniel Wells leads Mark Allen 2-1, and this is the last frame before the mid-session interval. Big crowd in day 1 of the World Open here in Yushan. It's the 16th ranking event of the season. There's 2 more, the Tour Championship, which is for the top 12 on the one-year list. And then, of course, the World Championship. Qualifying starts on April the 8th, and the main event of the Crucible in Sheffield, April the 20th. All live across Eurosport and Discovery Plus.
Frame 4.
Mark Allen, of course, will be at the Tour Championship number 4 on the one-year list. Winning that Players' Championship sorted all of that out. And he made a nice 72 in the end. It took 4 scoring chances to actually win the frame, but when Daniel Wells missed that pink, the chance came and Allen took it well.
But I miss. Mark Allen 4.
Not so much that he missed the red and left, gave 4 points away. Just he's left this red for Mark.
One.
Again, good pop. Just didn't quite get enough side on it to check it back. Get a fuller contact on that red.
Mark Allen 1.
I guess now that Wells has seen Allen win a frame with a substantial contribution, he knows he won't be able to just scrap his way through this match. He'll have to raise his own game as well, even though he's still in front. It's been bits and pieces from him. I can tell you, this young man, Wang Jingbo, is just 16. He's a wild card, and he's not far off taking a 3-1 lead over Matt Selt. So it'll be a big upset brewing. Matt Selt's playing for Snookers there, but barring those, he's going to be 3-1 down.
Foul and miss. Mark Allen 4.
Xu Ying, the referee, placing the white.
I'll check.
I think Wells feels the cue was a little further from the cushion, but they're going to get the technology on it, I think.
So good. Just there.
Well,
The same place.
it's not moved, so here we go. Of course, you can see red's full. Yeah, and now he's got to hit one. That's
Foul and miss.
going to
Mark
be
Allen 4.
foremost in his mind. See red's full, so he loses the frame if he doesn't hit one this time.
And Daniel, you can see the whole ball. If you miss again, you will lose again.
I think he heard there.
I'm always fascinated by some referees. I mean, she did that very sort of politely. Some are very kind of abrupt with it, as if to sort of hammer home the situation. Has to hit one, otherwise it's 2-2.
The important thing was that she did warn him. Of course, if she doesn't warn him and he fails for the third time, you don't lose the frame. You must get the warning.
Yeah, funnily enough, that happened at the start of the O'Sullivan-Selby match at the Players' Championship, where O'Sullivan wasn't warned and eventually just smashed into the reds. Anyway, Mark Allen starting to look a bit better now, isn't he? Cannon didn't quite work out to his satisfaction, but he's starting to pot these long balls now.
Yeah, that ready cannoned in, that's affecting his cue, and that's why he's not going for the black.
Mark Allen 1.
Mark tempted by the red to left corner. Just came down there to see where exactly he'd like to be on the black. Seems like he's changed his mind, actually like to play the safety instead. Certainly think a couple of years ago he would have played the long pot, the option of getting on the black. Far more reluctant to take any risks at all these days. Is that Daniel the same choice? Hand on the table. Not tempted either, which is surprised because the red, if you did go for it, it's the only one you could leave. There's every chance you'd be low on the black. So in potting the black, you could disturb the other two. But yeah, I think for me, this is another sign of Daniel's lack of confidence despite the lead. Just looks like he's just struggling a little bit with his game. Very experienced player, well used to playing the top players, well used to playing in big arenas. Just looks to me as if he's just struggling with his game.
The irony is actually last season he had a lot more snooker to play because he could play amateur snooker as well. So he was actually playing a lot, whereas on the Pro Tour, if you're not getting through and qualifying for tournaments, if you're at the top end like Mark Allen, you're playing everything. We just saw him in Riyadh. We've seen him in the ITV Series events. But Daniel Wells been a bit more sporadic, so he's not really had matches since the Welsh Open, which is a month ago. So not quite as played in as his opponent.
As you said, as an amateur, who's probably sharper. You think being on the Pro Tour, you're going to be playing matches all the time, but it's, of course, only if you're winning them and getting runs in tournaments. He's had a lot of first-round defeats this year.
Yeah, and a lot of those first-round defeats, they're not at the main venue, are they? It's like you've never actually been in the tournament in the first place. That must be how it feels.
Mark, of course, not just in the habit of playing matches, more importantly, in the habit of winning matches. More often than not, just finds a way to win, regardless of his performance. More than happy to win ugly, just to get the win.
Well, meanwhile, Ding Junhui's gone 4-2 up on Zach Surety, so it was 2-0. It's all going well for Zach, but Ding, it's not only he's come back with some big breaks, and he's looking good now to take his place in round 2, where he'd play Lu Hongyu, another Chinese player. Now he's watching everything here. Red's running around the table.
Yeah, of course, it was a difficult pot, particularly as he was playing the screw back, but didn't cue it great, missed it by a good bit.
Someone just did his eye line. Getting a bit of a talking to from the referee. Players love an atmosphere, love it to be packed, but obviously you don't want to be put off at a vital moment.
And to be fair to Mark, there's been a few disturbances throughout the match, but he's remained calm. But that'll test his peace of mind that now he's gone ahead and missed it.
Yeah, some of these tournaments, the referees, it's almost like they need it, like in cricket, a sort of second official to just do crowd control. But as I say, it's good that it's full. Hasn't always been in China over the years, but this season, since snooker's returned, the interest has been off the scale. And tomorrow night, Fergal, I think it's fair to say when Ronnie O'Sullivan's playing Michael White, it's going to be packed.
Yeah, always a great sense of anticipation when Ronnie's playing. Very popular, not just throughout the world, particularly in China. And certainly this year seems to have really embraced playing in China. Has been times over the years where you might have questioned his interest and desire. Not the case.
No, I mean, we'll talk about Ronnie tomorrow, but in terms of managing a season, he's been, well, exemplary, really, the way he's done it. Hasn't played at everything, but most of the events he's turned up to play and he's won. And he's already broken the prize money record for a single season, over 1.1 million, with 3 big prizes still to contend. This 170, the Tour Championship 200, and the World Championship 500,000. So he could go over 2 million. It's not impossible. And that's having not played in every tournament. Mark Allen at 569,500 this season and counting. He could get to $1 million himself. A lot of money for those doing well. Of course, it's a different story at the other end of the rankings, but that's true in every sport.
Yeah, Ronnie seems to look at the calendar at the start of the year and decide what tournaments are most important to him, then try and peak for those, and backs himself that when he does play, he's going to go deep. Never get a sense of him that he's chasing money or ranking points. Or it's lower down the rankings. Just, you don't get that sense you have that same freedom to be turning down tournaments and opportunities to earn in money and not, in other words, ranking points. You feel towards the end of the season, every pound counts. As the tournaments get more frequent, some of the players, regardless of the level, are going to have to look at managing the season better. You don't want to feel like you're a bit of a pit pony just playing and chasing around the world, playing in everything. I suppose it's fantastic at World Snooker, given the £20,000 guarantee, but you do have to play in every event to get that 20,000. So maybe players probably don't feel they have the freedom or choice they might like.
Well, it's useful to have that graphic, isn't it? So you can see what the player is seeing from the bulk end. In Mark Allen's case, not a lot directly.
Yeah, that little tap on the table, that's the problem he's in. Again, another feature of his game the last couple of years. If needs be, if he's in trouble, we'll wait 2-3 minutes, not just to find a shot, but the shot. Just wait, sometimes by waiting those extra 30 seconds, eventually a shot or an option can appear.
Ball and miss. Daniel Wells 4.
Yeah. Tried to come off the cushion, just glance the red. Again, playing that shot. No surprise the aired on the thin side. If he catches it too thick,
Back.
he'd leave Daniel down that end of the table. All he's trying to do here is just somehow not leave Daniel a pot on his next shot. And the fact he's can't see any of the red's full ball, he could have more than 3 attempts on this to try and get it perfect if he needs it. Yeah, very good shot there. Not so much even the execution, just the discipline and application he showed just to try and wait and find a shot. He has left a difficult long round for Daniel, but from that situation, it's probably about the best he could do. It would have been very easy just to panic or lose patience and have a sling at something, but it's not a feature of his game. And it turns out Daniel's not even going for that red. To use a tennis analogy there, Mark just got the ball back over the net, try and continue the rally. Hopefully at some point he'll be looking to try and gain the advantage, take control. Which again, Daniel has at the moment. Somebody's alarm going off doesn't help. Not sure if that put him off, but as a result, he's played quite a poor safety.
One.
Just playing a safety down the balk, and we resume the stalemate. He's just looking to find out where exactly can he leave the white. That'll put Mark in the most trouble. Won't be able to snooker Mark, but just what's the most awkward path back for Mark.
Daniel Wells. One.
Has had a look at that red to the left corner. So if he runs this through and get back up the balk, mightn't leave a red on. Yeah,
One.
excellent pot. Just totally committed to the pot. Wasn't exactly sure where the white would go, but wasn't concerned. Pot the red. Roll it behind the green. For the first time in a few minutes, he has control of the table.
They've stopped playing because I think Zach Schurig is on a maximum, so hopefully we can go across to table one and see if he's going to make it. Well, they are, I think, going to carry on, but let's try and get across to see if he can make this. He's not going to carry on. They're watching table one, which is what we need to be doing. Well, finally, we've got across. Now, here we go. He's on the 15th black. What a moment for Zach Schurig this is. His highest break in tournament play actually made at the German Masters this year. The crowd loving it. What a brilliant moment. He's someone who's spoken very openly of his struggles with anxiety, but my word, he held himself together brilliantly there. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, brilliant for him. It's great anybody getting the 147, but particularly Zach, as you said, he's had his problems A huge moment from him. And to be fair to him, he never looked like a guy that was trying to get a 147 in such circumstances. Kept his routine, kept his rhythm, stayed calm. And even when he went slightly out of position, brown to blue, recovered it. No, brilliant from him.
Yeah, this frame, as we saw, they stopped, so you didn't miss anything here. I think it also just underlines now the strength in depth. The last one was made by Joe O'Connor, who's higher up the rankings, but, you know, he's not a top 16 player. Nasdaq Surety World number 71 makes one. Just shows how good all these guys are.
Yeah, absolutely. Right from round one now, you're going to play a very good player. Against testament, not just to his skill, but his nerve, temperament. And regardless of how the result goes. Of course, with that confidence now, there's every chance he can go back and beat Ding. And again, clearing up to beat Ding would seem easier than making him 147. Again, if a player hasn't won an awful lot of matches over the years and been struggling to get on tour and stay on tour, to have a moment like that is brilliant from. Well deserved.
Yeah, and it makes it very interesting now, because that continues on Discovery Plus. Fair to say this match hasn't quite had the same fireworks. We're still, of course, yet to reach the interval. And this frame, following the pattern of certainly the first couple, quite fragmented.
Yeah, they did the right thing there by stopping. Obviously, they didn't want to cause any distractions for Zach, but also your concentration would be gone. You'd be more concerned with whether he made the break or not. Nice dance on the brown there for Daniel. Just brought the white ball back over to that side of the table. A lot of reds over there, quite congested, blocking each other.
One.
Mark did put his hand up there. I'm not sure if he played that plant. Oh, great advantage. Again, you can see there where he's putting his tip. That's where he'd like to leave the white. Put Daniel in as most trouble as possible.
Mark Allen, 1.
Obviously felt then that trying to leave the white there was too risky. Settled for leaving it away from the cushion. blocking the path.
Well, she's got very dragged out now, this frame. And concentration is so important. May have left a chance here, though. This red to corner. Not potted it. It's quite a big mistake, actually, from Wells, but he might profit from it now.
Of course, as well, with these long, protracted safety battles, when you do get a chance or half a chance, a lot more difficult. Just not in the rhythm or routine.
What?
I feel it's a very important frame in the context of the match. But the chances he's had, and the way Mark has played, he should go 3-1 up. Anything less than 3-1, you feel he's let Mark off the hook. Of course, you run the risk that Mark's going to come back after the interval a lot stronger, playing better. Could have been worse, could have been better. At least he can display this plant, however. Not sure if he can get the white away from the cushion. As a result, then, best he'd be leaving himself a tricky pink into the middle with another red over the pocket.
8.
Yeah, managed well there to get it away from the cushion. Again, hand on the table. You'd fully expect him to pot this pink.
Well, all the hoopla going on elsewhere. This is a very serious visit for Daniel Wells.
14.
He'll, of course, have been observing Mark Allen's season. In fact, his last couple of seasons. This is a tough draw.
15.
Still is, but at the moment, he's on top. He's not been dominated in the way that maybe the form book suggested he would be. Mark Allen made that 72 in the last frame. That's his only real fluency, and that was his 4th attempt in the frame to actually put something together.
Yeah, he said to Daniel, you're going to be leading 3-1 at the interval. I'm sure he presumed he would have played, or had to play a lot better and work harder for the chances. Yeah, the players have generally been
21.
dictated by the way the balls have went. However, when they have had really good opportunities, they haven't made the most of them or anything like that.
22.
That's not to say that pattern the match will continue after the interval. That's why he feels important for Daniel just to capitalise. He's on top. He needs to stay on top.
Well, it's still sort of swimming through glue stuff, isn't it? It's a struggle, but he is on top, you're right, and he wants to stay that way, try and... OK, this visit's going to come to an end, but try and force another one and just do enough to get the frame on the board.
Yeah, each frame is end up going to be a series of little mini games. Both players playing good safety, battling away to get an opportunity. Within a shot or two, it seems like we'll return to the same process. Neither player will be particularly enjoying this
28.
kind of game.
Just to say, in the interval, we'll be able to show you the whole of the 147 from Zach Surety. He managed to get the end of it, thankfully, live. I thought it was a great expression as he walked off. He sort of looked shocked himself, didn't he?
Went old school, just a 147. No golden ball to talk of.
Yeah, that's, of course, on the back burner again until the next Riyadh Masters. There's enough pressure as it is trying to pot the last black.
Tricky goal down the ball cushion against the nap for $1 million.
Average shot times in this match, Wells 31.5 seconds, Mark Allen just over 30, but that's reflective of the sort of drawn out nature of it. Wells has not had a half century yet, but it's about getting to 5 ultimately. That's what they're here to do, however long it takes, whatever sort of match it is.
Question of what are you prepared to do? If you want to win, are you prepared to go through these scrappy frames, not lose your discipline, and just win somehow? Give yourself the opportunity to improve. Can't improve if you're on the flight home. Nice pop from Daniel there and well controlled. Nicely on the pink. And the 2 reds, I'm not sure if they pass to the right corner. Certainly go into the middle pocket if he could get behind them.
Well, it's concern for Allen for sure here. He's not yet produced the sort of level he would certainly be hoping for, and the level he's been producing in general. Okay, he made that 72, but it took a few openings to actually win that frame. Other than that, Daniel Wells has just been sort of plugging away. 16 in front here, trying to get the frame one at this visit again.
Yeah, that's the real surprising thing with this match. Daniel's 3-1 ahead. You'd say he's 3-1 ahead against Mark Allen with his B game. He felt that it was going to get a lead or win. He'd have to be very close to his best. That hasn't been the case. I suppose if you look at the positives for him as well, if he's 3-1 up at the interval and go back to the dressing room and say, look, I can play even better than this, hopefully that give him confidence. Nice little shot there. Tried to not just disturb those 2, but also played it to try and hold 2 reds in the middle. crucial shot here now. You feel if he pots this one into the middle, get on a colour. It's this frame ball coming up, you feel. It just adds that little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it felt like you say, frame basically done if that went in, but it hasn't, so he's only 22 in front. And of course, he's opened things up now as well, so this is a definite chance for Alan, and he'd be delighted with 2-2. He's not been at his best, but if he could go to the interval all square, you feel he comes out favourite again for the second half.
Feel the red closest to the right-hand cushion. It's the main obstacle in this
6.
frame. Of course, Mark being left-handed. He was to be behind it on the cushion, would need the rest. See, there is a little bit away from the cushion, so if he could get behind.
7.
Screw back up for ideally the blue, but a couple of shots away. Just be relieved to be back in with a good chance. Would have feared the worst when Daniel had that opportunity.
Well, you could probably tell by the whooping and hollering that Ding has won, despite the maximum. I mean, Jack Stewart, you'll never forget that break, but Ding is going to progress 5-3. It's looked a terrific match. He's actually finished before this has got to the interval on this table. But what enthusiasm. It doesn't help Mark Allen necessarily right now.
14.
But he didn't show any signs of even acknowledging it there. Well, he's just taking a moment. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of movement maybe now as well. Not ideal timing.
Yeah, as I said a couple of minutes ago, this red going to be crucial. Would like to be a little bit closer to it.
20.
Yeah, from where he was in the pink, this is the best he could do. Just have a look there. If he pots this red and screws back, I think he'd to be low on the blue.
Yeah.
请大家离场的时候保持安静，还有7张球台在比赛，谢谢大家。
Referee asking the crowd to calm down. Always very difficult in this situation. Just the noise, commotion, but a very important shot. Yeah, hit that beautiful. Of course,
21.
the extended rest and playing at a power made it more difficult. And green passes the brown. Just see him pause on for a second there. If he drops the green in dead weight, can he still hold to be nicely on the yellow? You're never comfortable playing the green as slow as he would have to. You feel if he plays the green with any pace, he wouldn't be on the yellow.
Yeah.
You can hear the moan, oh God, there, and that was just obviously ready to pull the trigger and have somebody movement. It's not even so much the noise, even just in their eye line, can be very distracting.
Yeah, that's it. It's not the noise, as you say, it's the just distracting him, playing towards the audience. So if people are believing after the Ding match, it's going to put him off.
Yeah, something just catches your eye. You nearly feel like you've played it blind.
Such a big moment in this match. Mark Allen sort of hanging on at the moment. He's not played well yet, really, but a chance for 2-2.
Yeah, excellent shot there. Particularly with the disturbance that he had.
23.
So up to including the blue to level up. Oh dear, well again.
志愿者后面的观众管一下，不要动。
The thing is, it's not just...
退出去。
I mean, the referee's there to referee the match. They have security people here as well who can actually... Exactly, what's security doing? That's what he's asking. It's not up to the referee to control everybody in the audience. There's staff here that can do that as well. They need to. This is a very important moment in this match.
$25. 你们自己也不要动啊！
You're going over again.
谢谢。
I mean, how many times can you say the same thing? But the balls are still going in. He needs to pot 2 more and he can just relax in the interval. Level on the scoreboard at 2-2. Stand has not been great. There's no point pretending otherwise. But he's very much back involved in the match. Daniel Wells had a good chance for 3-0. He missed a pink to the right
32.
middle when he was in. And he's had chances in this frame as well. But this blue, and he needs a snooker. So it's been a trial one way or another. It's been a long mini session. There's been the distraction of the other table. There's been people in his eye line, but Mark Allen has just got on with it. Well,
Mark Allen, 37.
okay, it's not in, but it's going to be hard to get the snooker.
With the other match finishing on the main table, and hopefully after the interval there'll be no more disturbance, a bit more settled. Important interval for Daniel. I'm not sure if he's on his own or if he's anybody in his corner, but he could do with somebody, I think, just to remind him that look on the positives. You haven't played well yourself, and you're 2-all with Mark. You've still every chance. It's a best of 5.
Well, they are going to the interval. It's taken a while to get there. In fact, about 2 hours 20 playing time. Daniel Wells led 2-0. Mark Allen has dug in, and despite everything else that's been going on, has just focused on the job in hand. He's won the frame, and he's levelled up at the second half of this match.
过程当中，请大家坐在位置上，不要随意走动。局间大家可以离场走动。比赛过程当中，请大家不要再走动了，谢谢。
Referee making a rather impassioned plea for a bit of order. I think the issue before the interval was just that the table 1 match with Ding had finished, so there's a lot of people leaving or moving, but now you would feel it would be okay for the rest of the night as Daniel Wells breaks off in frame 5.
As he did in his last break-off, he has left this red for Mark. Again, Mark just coming down to have a little look. If he placed beyond the black, would he leave a red?
Well, there's me saying it'd be all right straight away. There's movement or there's noise.
Yeah, if it's happened that frequently, it's hard to know where you just try and get in the habit of ignoring them all. It can be very off-putting. Yeah, good potting. As I said, that's what he came down to have a look at before he played. If he'd went straight or high on the black, he would have left the red above it. That's why he made it his business to be low on the black. Again, tricky pot on the black here, but will be on a red if he can get it.
Mark Allen, 1.
Didn't really look like it would drop, and it stays on the lip. Just to say, it looks like Karen Wilson is over the line in a decider against David Grace, 5-4. It's been a lot of breaks in that match. He was 4-2 up Wilson. Grace fought back, but He's over the line now. He's on a big break in the decider. Another player who is kind of looking for something this season. Can Daniel Wells now step things up? He's not made any sizable breaks yet. Surely he's going to have to if he is to win this match.
Play that well, just swerving around, just catching the black thin enough. Again, needs another good pot here from the side cushion.
Just to say, Karen Wilson will play Ashley Hugel in the next round. He's beaten Jack Jones 5-0. Yuan Sijun, this is the standard at the moment. He's had back-to-back breaks of 121 and 141 to lead Ishpreet Singh Chadha 3-2, but Chada's just won the 6th frame.
15.
A lot of people will be playing well today and not winning.
Crucial here for Dangle. Get perfect angle on the black. Looking then to get a good split on the reds.
23.
Again, just to be careful, he doesn't play this with too much bottom, just screw off them, come back towards the black cushion. He's like a stun, half ball stun. The end red to be perfect. Yeah, really well played. Again, was in prime position from the black.
30.
Yeah. Just having another look. He's not in anything easy. Quite unlucky there. Otherwise, just blocking each other. Yeah, so much so that he's come down the end of the table. Again, he can feel hard done by there. Played the shot exactly the way he wanted. You can see the reds there is blocking themselves. Just kind of sums up the day for both players. Nothing's come easy for them.
I always think it's cruel when you play the positive shot and you don't get the reward. You know, he's done nothing wrong really there, has he? And it's still now something he's got to sort of cope with psychologically.
Yeah, he can consider himself unlucky there. Sometimes players, when they go into the pack, they haven't hit the red they wanted or the pace they wanted and can have a bit of a moan, but he couldn't have done any more.
And just look where the balls are. Had he got on one, I mean, they just sit in there waiting to be potted, don't they?
Yeah, that just adds to the annoyance. Yeah, he took his time to play the safety shot. Would have liked White to be a little bit closer, or tight on the cushion. Again, important passage of play now. You feel whoever puts the next red, gets on a colour, will have the good chance to win it. Again, even if they do get in the way they've been playing, there's no guarantee they would win it in one visit. It just shows the importance of leaving the white tight on the cushion. Of course, Mark didn't pot that, but he went for it. He could have potted plenty of times he would. Whereas Daniel's bread and butter safety should have been tight to the cushion. Mark wouldn't have had that option of playing it and screwing back. But it's ended up he's got this chance.
One.
Well, he had the chance, but straight away it's gone wrong. The way he's played the match, you don't fancy him to take the blue on, really.
Yeah, and even if he does take it on, I don't think you fancy him to pot. It's just, everything's just been hard work. And as I said, right from the off, it just looks like a player's just struggling with his game. And even with the chances he's getting, he's finding it difficult. Doesn't look at peace, comfortable out there.
Brown ball.
Mentally, if you're not happy with your game, you can nearly get to a point where you don't want the chances. You feel you're not going to take them. Mark would have liked to leave the white tight on that black cushion. Again, Daniel just having a look. I don't think his choice of a red, the red on the left to the middle, or another red into the... Yeah, good pot. Normally, particularly after 4 frames being played, you just assume Daniel would go on and win the frame from here, but the way it just went today, can't take it absolutely for granted.
9.
Again, nice lead. Again, important frame for him, he felt, just to re-establish that lead. Would have been a little bit disappointed to be only 2-all. Again, so long as you're ahead, far more easier to keep those negative thoughts away.
16. 17.
It was noticeable in the maximum with Zach Shirty. He didn't go sort of looking for problems, did he? He was very fluent making the break. He actually had a couple of problems, but he got over them. But he didn't sort of start looking at things too much. That can be sometimes a danger if your confidence isn't high. That's what Daniel Wells has got to guard against here, because this is a wonderful chance. He's not got much more to do here to win this frame. 54 in front, a couple more reds.
25.
Yep, so this next red should put him 3-2 in front.
30.
Mark Allen really is a big scalp these days because he's become a consistent winner. Challenging for the #1 spot. A lot of people talking about him in terms of the World Championship title this year. So for Daniel Wells, if he could get over the line against him, what a confidence boost it would be. He was Player of the Season last season at the World Snooker Awards, Mark Allen. And he's challenging for that position this season. Certainly if he won the World Championship, he'd be very much in the reckoning for it.
36. 37. 42. 43.
Maybe this break and contributions, the spark this match needs. Also alerts Mark
48.
to the fact that Daniel playing a little bit more fluent, a bit more confident.
49.
Yeah, well, this is his highest break, actually, so that speaks for itself.
Daniel, 3-2 up, must of
54.
course sense what a great opportunity it is to get not just a scalp, but more money and more points.
55.
Of course, you wouldn't know if he could win, where this could lead to get a deep run in the tournament. Push him right up the rankings again. And of course, like every other player looking for a major boost in confidence, the World Championships coming around the corner. Never played at the Crucible yet, Daniel.
No, his very first season, he got to the final round of qualifying and he lost 10-9 to Barry Hawkins. So, you know, you can't get closer than that.
You can lose in the black a few times.
Well, here in Yushan, he's gone back in front. Remember, he led 2-0. Mark Allen fought back to level at the interval. But in the end, Daniel Wells has made his highest break so far of this match to edge 3-2 in front. 63 from the Welshman. Proving to be quite stubborn in this match. You know, Allen fought back to 2-2 from 2-0 down. Thought maybe he might take control, but Daniel Wells has just made his highest break of the match, 63, to go back in front.
Yeah, not just a bad miss. Let's explain. I was just going to say, as soon as he hit it, there was a lot of movement there. He was up off the shot straight away, which I thought might have been a sign of tension, but obviously got distracted again. Something caught his eye. Literally moved as he was hitting the white.
Yeah, well, the audience aren't down this end, so that must be maybe a photographer or someone just working on the event. I don't know. We can't see from here, but the referee's gone over to speak to them.
Yeah, actually, a photographer down that end can be more off-putting. Any movement from them at all catches your eye. Daniel will be too delighted at that distraction. Again, left that plant, played it well. I think a confident Daniel Wells would be potting this blue and going straight into them. Get them open. Chances are, even if it didn't go ideal, that red's close enough to the yellow pocket. He should be able to pot that. Again, he's, for the first time in this match, he's on top. Got to try and capitalise, push on.
Well, it was the right shot, and it was a statement as well that he's feeling good, because earlier on in the match he'd backed away from a couple of shots, didn't he? But not there. That was full-blooded.
Yeah, sometimes you nearly have to force yourself to play the right shot, even if you're not feeling too confident or comfortable. Again, he's going to feel a lot better now that he has played it the right way. And of course, As you said, it's a sign to Mark as well. He's going to have to go, and Mark hasn't been at his best, far from it, but he's still,
7.
to get over the line, he's going to have to go and grab it. Can't be waiting for Mark to give him chances. And again, if he could just, somewhere down the road, free that red up beside the black, it becomes a brilliant chance. You see, he's just had a little attempt at it there. And the fact that in playing that shot, choice of reds, and looks like he can just pot the red, avoid the black and that red. Yeah, he's just anxious the angle. He doesn't want to pot the red and clip off the red below the black, near the cushion. Yeah, played it well. Just stunned it in close margin. And now he's got them where he likes. Now it's a great chance.
$20. $21.
And maybe that break in the last frame just relaxed him, freed him up a little piece, because as we were saying, even at 2-0 up, he didn't look like he was playing with great freedom.
Well, of course, there's another player back on tour this season, Martin O'Donnell.
28.
And, of course, he reached the final of the Welsh Open last month. It can be done from the bottom of the rankings. And all the players in the game will have seen that and thought, well, maybe next time it'll be me.
29.
All about making the most of the chances that either come your way or that you manage to force yourself. He's got himself into a lovely position here as the referee again asks, this time for a phone to be switched off. Wells didn't seem to be noticing much, though. He's just focusing on the table, which is a good sign. Another phone goes off.
Yeah, no, it's probably got to the point where there's so many distractions. If you're going to stop and get up for every distraction, it take far too long and be more off-putting.
35.
And just went just off straight the wrong side. Now he's going to have to play a red from mid-range, which again, you'd still expect him to pot, but there's always that nagging feeling that it should be easier, it shouldn't be this difficult. It's such a big margin for error from that red. And there's going to be a bit of pressure on this next red. You nearly feel it's frame ball if he pots it. And obviously not just to pot it, but get back up high on the blue.
40. $41.
Yeah, just a few options here. None of them absolutely ideal. You might just have a look at the blue there. If you can, looks to be more or less straight. Again, if you can just roll that through, good piece of cueing. Should be on the next red quite nicely. And there's still a little bit of pressure on this.
$46.
Just needs to be mindful here, avoiding these reds. You feel one good shot and get perfect on the black.
$47.
Yeah, very well played.
Yeah, he's actually looking good now. In the earlier frames, he did go 2-0 up, but he needed a lot of chances, but just made a 63. And what a chance for 4-2 here.
Yeah, he's just playing a little bit more fluent. Getting on with it a little bit more.
54.
It's only a difference of maybe 2-3 seconds per shot, but just...
55.
just suggests he's feeling more comfortable, as you say. He's just picked up the pace a little bit, not looking for problems.
And again, maybe at the start, might have took him a bit by surprise how Mark was playing, that rather than looking over his shoulder, waiting for Mark to come back, his different mindset. Forget what Mark Allen's doing or trying to do. You go out there and the win and lose in this match is in your hands. Go out and grab it.
62.
Yeah, we talked about Mark Allen's temperament, patience and discipline. Daniel has shown that as well after the interval.
Well, he needs this black, and it's going to be 4-2. And the danger for Allen is that Wells is now winning these frames in one visit. It seemed he was put off when he was at the table. Wells stepped in, very quickly got the reds open off the blue, and has gone on to make a frame-winning break. This is very impressive now.
70.
The next hurdle is, of course, to win the frame that you need to get the match won. And, of course, that is a different sort of pressure. But he's going into it feeling great.
Yeah, earlier on in the season had some great wins against Neil Robertson and Zhao Yilong, both of them 6-1. Scored very heavy.
Which he's starting to do now, 63 and 78 in successive frames. Daniel Wells is one away from a big upset here in Yushan today against the world number 3, Mark Allen, who finds himself 4-2 down and needing to win the last 3 frames to stay in this World Open. So Daniel Wells has not only won the last 2 frames, but he's won them handsomely with breaks of 63 and 78. He's on the brink against Mark Allen. 4-2 he leads. He needs one more for victory.
Daniel left that red for Mark. His last break off. And Mark was able to hold it for the black this time. He's hoping for a better outcome than that. Left himself
8.
tricky enough red here. Has the angle to pot it and come off, I think, a couple of cushions for the black. Very well played. Good piece of cueing, particularly as he sat down for the last frame. That'll be frustrating for Daniel, though. Played well the last 2 frames. Straight off the break, leave Mark this opportunity. It's amazing, the current game, with everybody looking to improve. And yet how often players are leaving reds from the break off for their opponents. Such as the standard these days, that you leave them one red, that can be the frame. Don't think the answer is quite the Mark Williams roll-up break, but
24.
I think players still tend to underestimate the importance of the break off.
25.
Yes, and also the best players, they do kind of come alive in this scenario. 4-2 down, back to the wall. Sort of classic Mark Allen territory in many ways, where you almost expect him now to produce his best. Whether it'll be enough to win the match, we'll see. But he's in here early in frame 7.
32.
I think for a moment there, I was tempted maybe to screw back and play on the black. Yeah, it deserves that little bit of luck. Played it very well.
38.
Well, he's trying to make things happen, and they have done. Ricky Walden, meanwhile, has won 5-4 against Jamie Jones with a 3rd century in the match there. So 3 centuries. He's still only 1 under decider. Just shows you how high the standard was in that match. But well done to Ricky Walden, who will play Ben Wollaston in the next round.
Yeah, there seems to be an awful lot of centuries today, considering it's only the first day. All bodes well for the rest of the tournament. Of course, highlighted by Zach's 147.
46.
Yeah, the 12th maximum, by the way, of the season. So, you know, there's been quite a few already. I think he collided with the referee there, unintentionally, obviously. She's had a bit.
Get past that red I talked about on this one. And again, there's been a good break.
Yeah, the match has really come to life since the interval.
59.
It took a long time to get there, over 2 hours, but now it's really good stuff.
Yeah, notice that today, Mark Allen's cue there, that little bit of tape we've seen there just towards the end of the butt of the cue. That's something new.
66.
Obviously, he's been working on something. He'd have that there just to, obviously, maybe changing his grip. Instead of automatically putting it where he used to.
67.
You just feel to put the hand on the tape. Might have changed his back arm, maybe try and be a little bit more vertical.
Still needs this black in. As you can see at the moment, Wells can tie. So this is for 4-3. Cue ball close to the side cushion though. And it goes. Had to obviously
74.
make sure of the pot there rather than anything else. Still a chance at the red to middle though.
85.
Well, he's sort of been forced into playing well, hasn't he? The way Wells has played last 2 frames, it was either you up your game or you're out. Well, he's upped his game. So this match still anyone's.
$82.
Just that Ricky Walden break, by the way, 1-3-5. He'd already had a 1-3-7 and a 1-3-1 to beat Jamie Jones 5-4.
$90.
Can Mark Allen make a century of his own here?
96.
Well, this is exactly what he needed, really. He'd been quite sluggish from him earlier on. Daniel Wells went 4-2 up with 2 good breaks. Mark Allen had to find something, had to produce something, and that's exactly what he's done with this century. .103. The break ends at. Mark Allen still in this, and the standard has certainly gone up since the interval. So Daniel Wells still one away, didn't really get any sort of look in there. Mark Allen first time. So Wells leads 4-3. And we'll be back shortly with more. Shan for the first time since 2019. The defending champions Judd Trump, he won earlier today. And right now Mark Allen, who won this title in haiku in 2012 and 2013. He's 4-3 down to Daniel Wells, but it was 4-2. Allen's just made 103 in the last frame. We've got, of course, this week, then the Tour Championship, and then the World Championship itself at the Crucible, all 17 days live on Eurosport and Discovery Plus. And indeed, you can watch the qualifying 10 days of that, starting on April the 8th, also live on Discovery Plus. And at the moment, looks like Neil Robertson will be involved in that. He has to win this tournament to avoid going to the qualifiers. He plays Tianpeng Fei, not an easy starter by any means, tomorrow. The winner of that match plays either Ishpreet Singh Chadha or Yuan Sijun. They're currently 3-3. In fact, it's just gone 4-3 to Yuan Sijun as Daniel Wells returns.
8. Mark Allen to break.
So frame 8, Mark Allen's just made 103 to reduce the gap to 4-3, but Daniel Wells still one from victory now. In the last frame, he broke off, didn't get another shot, so can't really reproach himself. It's not like he had any sort of chance in the frame. Well, it almost feels like a different match to what we were watching before the interval. The standard has really improved. Good red from Daniel Wells. Cue ball kept running. Still on this yellow, though.
I'd love to have the angle here to put in this red just to disturb the black from those 2 reds. I was just hoping to come off the cushion, just glance that red away. I think he thought about playing the blue for a moment, but just would have left another mid-range red. I think he's elected for a safety shot. Looking now, where can he leave the white?
Brown ball. Daniel Wells, 4.
quite short of pace with that safety. Left Daniel this long-range red. Looks to have a little bit of an angle. Can run through. Ideally try and get up on the blue.
把手机调静音，谢谢。
Yeah, not only missed the pot, which was tricky enough, of course, catching the jaw, the middle pocket, bringing it right back down.
球员打球的时候，请大家不要发出任
Again,
何
looks to be
响声。
fairly straight on one red. Again, if the red can, if he can't put the red and disturb the pack. And maybe a slight angle, maybe again he might be tempted for the black, but looks like he's playing bottom, going back up for blue.
1.
Again, probably wasn't worth the gamble on bringing the black into play. Just try and get a few points on the board, get a lead. If he could pot this red and get high on the blue, of course, that gives him the option of going into the reds in the pink.
Seven.
Well, just quickly, we've had another result. Yuan Sijun has beaten Ishpreet Singh Chadha 5-3.
Yeah, you just see Daniel trying to will wide around the corner, closer to the reds.
Danny Wells, 12.
Yeah, be disappointed to only make 12 there, but never quite got into ideal position.
So as it stands, there's only 2 matches left on in this session. The other one is Matt Sell against Wang Jimbo, the 16-year-old wildcard, who beat his brother this morning. And he's currently 3-3 with Matt Selt. He was 3-1 up. Selt's recovered and he is in front, Matt Selt in the next. But even so, that is a real struggle for him against clearly a great prospect.
And there we see that again, that controlled miscue. Just delivering the cue and glancing at the side. The red closest to the right corner. I'm not sure if he can pot that and swing around. Is he too thin an angle?
You can see the wariness now because they're each playing well. That's the thing. They know, okay, he might only need one visit here. And of course, from Alan's perspective, that would be end of match. So an important passage of play, this. This is what he can see. Not too inviting, it's got to be said.
That red close to the corner pocket. Looks a little nicer on that screen there. Daniel might be able to play off the red above the black, bring it down towards the brown. Of course, if there's any risk of pushing the red on, he wouldn't play it. Played something similar. Obviously, there was less risk involved. Again, certainly has the initiative at the moment. Daniel. Mark was just desperate to try and find some shot where he doesn't leave a pot on. The ball to get into play a little bit more. Of course, the black's still tied up. Mark cut that a little bit thicker than he would have liked. You see an anxious look there. Make sure he didn't leave a red on, which he hasn't. So again, Daniel gone back down, trying to leave Mark in as much trouble as possible. Which side is going to cause him the most problems? And then also, not just one side of the table, can he... I have to look at if he could leave the cushion, leave the white on the cushion behind the green. That caused the most problems for Mark. Looking at the other side now.
Well, while he does look at it, Matt Selt has made a century, a golden break for him, really, because he was in trouble there, 3-1 down to Wang Jingbo, but he now leads 4-3.
Mark coming down, the red that's closest to the left corner might play a dump shot off that, just coming down that. If he left the white on the cushion, then he wouldn't leave anything. They're just trying to bide his time. The white is so close, those corner pockets can make cueing a little bit more awkward, or certainly forming a bridge hand. And you just feel both players jockeying for position, trying to play that telling safety, create an opportunity. Obviously looking to pot that down, but was more concerned with avoiding another red and getting the white back down the table. Played it well. Then he could probably play a thin safety off the red closest to the blue. Just to be mindful that if he does play that, he doesn't hit another red or catch it too thick and going off. And if he avoids those two things, could put Mark in trouble.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess right now, isn't it? Both players looking for an opening in such a vital point in the match.
Mark just looking, those two reds, how do you plant? If he can't go for it, can he play it in such a way that he avoids other reds? Actually, he didn't want to avoid any other reds. Was very confident in getting the pot. That's why he gambled on opening up the other balls, and probably a little bit unfortunate not to have something nicer. Again, now it's his turn to try and put his opponent in trouble. Again, having a look where exactly he can leave the white. You know, that red so close to the left corner. Have to be careful with any safety, don't leave that on.
Well, it's just gone 11 at night here, so it is a late finish. It's a dramatic finish, whatever happens from here on in.
Pink ball. Mark Allen, 1.
The focus has been good from both players, but Alan just walking away there because he feels he left a chance at this red.
Yeah, I'm surprised he played it that way. Obviously trying to get cover behind the brown, but if he puts it on the other side of the table, he definitely wouldn't have left that red.
Well, it still needs potting. Pink and black have sort of gone a bit bad, but he starts with a good pot. Daniel Wells, remember, needing one frame.
Kind of shot, the harder he plays it, the more the angle could throw, could clip that red close to the black cushion. Yeah, would have liked to play it a little bit harder, but probably fearful that it could just throw and catch that red. Again, bit of an escape for Mark there, quite fortunate.
Well, it looks like that pink will pot to the right corner, and so therefore gets it back on its spot. Suddenly then the table opens up a bit. But it's got tense, hasn't it? You know, it's suddenly become rather tactical passage of play. Tension coming to bear at this stage of the contest.
Yeah, very good pot. There's pressure on that. Could well have been his last shot of the match. Mark's always been blessed though, a great bottle.
Seven. Eight.
It just landed short of blue again.
Thirteen.
Yeah, good pot there, considering he was using the extension. Punch it in and try and force an angle over closer to a red. Of course, with the black being tied up, he's making this break more difficult. And it's settled for that kiss.
Yeah, this is where sheer resilience goes a long way. I mean, we mentioned
19.
it would have been the 75th birthday of Alex Higgins. He was known for that. Dennis Taylor certainly was as well. Another brilliant Northern Irishman here, who tends to dig in when his back's to the wall, which it is in this match.
Maybe typical of Mark if he was to win it. But in the day, he wasn't at his best. Somehow just found a way to win. Again, as I said earlier, so long as you win, you're still determined, you always get a chance to improve. Whoever wins, you feel will have to improve. They want to have a good run in this tournament, but it's just one day at a time, one match at a time. All he can do today is try and win.
Well, we saw him do that at the Masters, didn't we, this year? He beat John Higgins and Mark Selby in deciders. They weren't classic matches, but he got the job done before Ali Carter did, outperforming in the semis, 6-3.
27.
Worth saying, he did make a maximum, of course, against Selby. We mustn't forget that.
Just had a look there to see if he rolled the pink in, where could he leave the white? The red closer to the right corner. Could Could he just drop it in and get on the black?
33.
Yeah, you can see straight away
Okay,
caught a bit
36.
thick.
Yeah. Sorry.
Similar issue here for Daniel. Not just obviously putting the red, but just can he just judge, just get himself on the black. You feel if he gets it on the black, opens that red beside it, becomes a frame and match winning chance. Can be quite tricky just to judge the pace when the red is so close to the pocket. Probably have the option, if he doesn't get on, it should be still be on the pink. But would love to be on the black here from first opportunity.
Thank you. 1.
Again, wasn't prepared to play anything precise. Again, played that very well considering. And again, where he is now on the blue, can play for those two reds to the right side. And even from there, should be able to get on the black.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of cue involved there, wasn't there? But he's finished nicely here. It's a chance, this, to get the match won.
Looks like he just has enough of an angle just to
6.
pot this red and still hold for the black on the bottom of these two reds. Again, if it's risky, you can always play the other one. Yeah, you can see from that camera angle, the lower red
7.
was just a bit too much of an angle to hold. Probably would like to be a little bit straighter on this red and just drop it in for the black.
Looks
Looks to be a perfect little angle here, and the pink just to pot and stun down. Yeah, play that well. Again, seems to be either straight or low enough that in potting the red, he's coming away from the black to free it up. Of course, that makes the last red more easy if the black's on its spot.
Well, it's all about controlling the cue ball. But of course, to do that, he's got to control his emotions. And this would be a big win, make no mistake, for Daniel Wells.
21.
He actually was the other side of that red, but played it very well. Just that little glance on the black. And now he's worked hard for these. Now it's the ideal opportunity he's been looking for.
28.
Got to say, the body language is good as well. You know, he's getting on with it. Not thinking about it too much, building it up too much.
29.
So all about landing on this yellow. He'd be 18 in front if he pots the black, so he'd need yellow and green. So it's 3 pots to win the match. It was quite sluggish to the interval, but it certainly has improved since. It's been good stuff since they resumed at 2-2. Wells made breaks of 63 and 78. Allen 103 in the last. Allen did have his chance. He missed that red to right corner. And now Daniel Wells needs this green for a famous victory.
Yeah, great victory. Biggest compliment you can pay him is beating Mark Allen, and he hasn't been at his best. So he takes confidence from this. Be a handful. Always a dangerous player. Certainly now with confidence from this.
I think it underlines,
45.
together with the Zach Surety maximum, that the strength in depth in snooker has never been as great as it is now. And we saw Martin O'Donnell get to the Welsh Open final. We've seen Zhang Anda come from the mid-rankings. These players on their day can do it. And Daniel Wells today has done it very impressively.
50.
Mark Allen collecting his things ready for an exit. He'll go to the Tour Championship.
56.
And then to the World Championship. But in terms of the World Open, it's Daniel Wells who marches into the last 32. A well-earned victory that was. Mark Allen, as ever, gracious in defeat. Not for him this week, a title he's won twice before. But Daniel Wells, what a win for him. And when the chance came at the end there, the question was asked, could he take it? And the answer, emphatically, yes. He made a nice clearance, and that'll make him feel good as he waits to see who he plays in round 3. So Daniel Wells completes the day here in Yushan. He beats Mark Allen by 5 frames to 3.